Here we have an old lithograph of a picture that was done of the Pilgrims in the great room of the Mayflower signing this Mayflower Compact. We do not actually have a copy of the original Mayflower Compact. It's been lost, was probably lost back about 180 years later during the War of Independence. But Governor Bradford, he was not yet governor, he was just Bradford, who was part of this great expedition, in his chronicles wrote a lot in the history of Plymouth Plantation, a lot about the story of these pilgrims, and he has a copy, so we have these words that come down to us from Bradford. Here is a picture again of them sitting, getting this Mayflower Compact. Now, they had a plan when they came to America, and part of that plan included a prefabricated small-sized boat that would hold maybe about 30 people. It was called, at the 30 at the most, was called a shallop. It's a shallow drafted vessel, and it had been taken apart and left in pieces in the hold. It was sort of to be refabricated when they got to this country. Well, the storms had beaten on the Mayflower so much that a lot of these pieces were damaged, and they had to do some work, so it took them some time to assemble this shallop and get it so it was seaworthy. And when they had done that, they left the Mayflower in Plymouth Harbor, in Provincetown Harbor, and a group of them went in the shallop around the inside of Cape Cod. Again, Cape Cod's like a hook. The Mayflower is anchored out here in Provincetown, and they head around the inside of Cape Cod. But again, now we're starting to get into December, when the weather is really cold, late November and December, and the spray off of the waves that are hitting the shallop are freezing to their clothes, and they're really cold. And for a while there, they got on around the inside of the Cape. They made their first landing at Eastham, which is over about here on Cape Cod, and spent the night. They pulled some different trees and things together to make a little bit of a shelter for themselves, and all night long they heard these howling and yelling of the Indians. Those were the Nauset Indians. The Nauset Indians had an attitude problem, and for good reason. There had been some dishonest sea captains that had shanghaied some of their warriors and sold them into slavery. So the Nausets had a bad attitude about white men in ships, and so early, just before sunrise, they attacked and sent arrows all through the different coats that were hanging up and everything, and yelling and screaming. And the meantime, these pilgrims had managed to get a couple of their gunpowder firing, they were basically blunderbuss kinds of weapons, and went out and fired those, and nobody got hit. And the Indians were bad shots with the arrows, because fortunately no one was hit of the pilgrims. And eventually, after sort of a confrontation, the Nausets were scared off, and the pilgrims at that point, being well woken up, got back in their shallop and headed back around the inside of Cape Cod. But as they were coming around, the weather turned to the worse. It started to snow heavily, and they were trying to find the entrance to what we would call Barnstable Harbor. That, of course, is not the way it's said up in Cape Cod. It's Barnstable Harbor, and they were looking for Barnstable. But they were out in the surf with the snow going hard, very cold, water freezing all over them, trying to find the entrance to the harbor. Their pilot thought that they saw it. They pulled in toward the shore, only to see that it was just waves breaking on the shallow sands of Cape Cod. And that, of course, would have been big problems for the shallop. There was a seaman among them by the name of Clark, and he grabbed a couple of steering oars and swung the shallop between a couple of waves around, pointing the bow out to the ocean, and he said, "If ye be men, pull for your lives." And so everybody dug in with the oars. They pulled off of the shore, got out where it was deeper, where the waves weren't breaking so badly, and there they were at night, with the snow coming down, wind howling, with ice freezing all over them in Cape Cod Bay. Well, as it turned out, before too long, they found that they had managed to get around into the shelter in the lee of some land, which turned out to be an island. They called it Clark's Island. The next morning they woke up, they were cold and wet and everything, and observed Sunday on Clark's Island, and then immediately started doing some exploration, and they found one wonderful thing after the next. They found that they were in a natural harbor that was deep enough for the Mayflower to be able to come around from Provincetown, come around over here to Plymouth, And so it had deep water in the harbor, and there was land, fantastic land that had been cleared that didn't have a lot of trees on it, which of course is a big problem if you're trying to farm to get all the trees off of land. Well, this land had been cleared, and there was beautiful fresh water coming down from several streams, from springs on the hill, with a hill behind which was defendable. You could put a fort on it and try to protect yourself some. So you had a place for the Mayflower to anchor, a fort on the hill, beautiful fresh water, cleared land, and no sign of anybody there except for a bunch of human bones and skeletons that remained, and some tattered pieces of fabric and all, and some poles and various things like that. A very curious kind of situation, but they didn't see anyone, and there were no Indians to give them a hard time, and so they came, as it was in December, to Plymouth Harbor.